Good evening, folks. It's Diamond from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News. And we're going to bring you a coronavirus scam alert tonight. It's actually Thursday, April 30th, just after midnight, which is your plight. Now, the BBC warns of coronavirus web scams after the feds charge Muskegon man for online mask fraud. If you're trying to buy these masks that have been mandated, well, you could be fraud dated. They get 5 stars here, but you may not receive your product. Muskegon, Michigan, Better Business Bureau serving the West Michigan warned consumers to use caution when shopping online for masks and other items advertised to protect from COVID-19. Now, if you're buying nutraceuticals, well, we applaud you. But if you're buying fraudulent masks, you won't get them. Let's check the numbers. 3 million confirmed cases, probably more like 30 million worldwide. 227,000 deaths, probably overpopulated, but we'll get to that, won't we? Quickly. And you'll see. Take a look at this headline. I read this paper yesterday, and I felt I had to share it with you. Hydroxychloroquine has 90% chance of helping COVID-19 patients, according to thousands of doctors worldwide. Now, a team of U.S. doctors, as well as others around the globe, have claimed that hydroxychloroquine, an anti-malarial drug termed potential game changer by Trump himself, has improved the survival and recovery odds of 90% of patients infected with the virus. That's not what I've heard in the U.S. at all. In fact, I heard the exact opposite. In fact, in the last 3 or 4 days, I've been convinced that hydroxychloroquine is no purpose in this pandemic. But my mind has changed. A team of U.S. doctors has claimed that hydroxychloroquine, the anti-malarial drug that we've been touting for months, has actual potential game changer for COVID-19. In a letter to Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, the AAPS, just the other day, and this is what I read, presented. You guys want to see me? Hello, here I am. Let's keep it small, keep it real. I have 420 Freedomist Film Ransom's hat on. He dropped this by. He actually drove almost 1,000 miles to give me this hat, by the way. Let's get back. Now, in a letter to Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, the AAPS, presented a frequently updated table of studies that reports results of treating COVID-19 with the chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine drugs. Now, according to this document, they presented data on 2,333 patients. You do the numerology. Treated with hydroxychloroquine in China, France, South Korea, and Algeria, and even the U.S. And it shows a 91.6% of those who got the drug fared better than those who didn't. Who knew? I did. Did you? Now, the whole reason we've been touting the possibility that this drug is a game changer is because the antiviral properties of these drugs have been studied since 2003. Hello, Ebola. Particularly when combined with zinc, hydroxychloroquine hinders the viral entry into cells and inhibits replication. Hello. They may also prevent overreaction by the immune system, which we call cytokine storm, which causes, which we just said, which is responsible for much of the damage in severe cases. Now, we have always touted the fact that most of the deaths are because of improper medical protocols, i.e., intubation. And we're going to get to that at the end of the video, so please stick with us. Don't be against us. Just listen to our protocol. Live updates. Stock market rallies after experimental drug shows promise for speeding up the coronavirus recovery. We're talking about remdesivir. Remdesivir, Paul Cottrell and I were touting as a potential antiviral for this particular pandemic 4 months ago. 4 months ago, Paul Cottrell and I did some of the first interviews on the topic, and we got to the bottom of it. And 4 months ago, we were touting remdesivir as a potential game changer, not hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir. But the problems with remdesivir, as well as hydroxychloroquine, come from a battle in the pharmaceutical industry. You've all just seen over the last several weeks and months a complete media display of the disposal of hydroxychloroquine. Most of the mainstream media is espousing that hydroxychloroquine is ineffective and BS, kills people, and it's terrible, and it's not effective. That's what you've heard, and that's because Donald Trump is in office. Absolutely no one is talking about this particular paper here. Hydroxychloroquine has a 91% actual chance of helping COVID-19 patients. Have you heard of this on CNN? I doubt it. This is from India TV Today. Hello. But the mainstream is now touting that remdesivir is the big winner because the remdesivir, apparently, all the people in the mainstream media, those multinational corporations that run the media, they have stock in this one. They don't have it in the hydroxychloroquine. You know why? Because all you have to do is buy quinine water. Do you know what that is? Tonic water. All you need to do is buy tonic water and drink that every day, and you will never get this disease. It will never manifest. Even if you have it, you'll be asymptomatic, which is probably why millions of people around the world are asymptomatic. They drink gin and tonic water and quinine, or they have a quinine. They're just healthy. They eat actual nutrients. And that's what's going to be discovered. The reason this pandemic even exists is because the unhealthy nature of the population. Mark my words. This will never get out, but I'm just telling you the facts. The facts are, if you eat a dense, nutrient-rich diet and your immune system is dense, then you can probably expect no ill effects from this disease. If you eat Cheetos and Taco Bell and McDonald's and you think that's food and you've been doing that for a while, well, you'll end up in the whole of the pandemic universe, which is called the hospital. And you'll probably pick up the disease and MRSA and who knows what else. But the brass tacks and what we're getting on in this update tonight is that the majority of people in the world today, right now, 1/3, that's like if this is this much, that much. If we had that much, it'd be this much. That's a lot. That's a third. A third of the people that died today from natural causes die from the hospital itself. 2/3 die from natural causes. 1/3 dies from the hospital. And during this pandemic, it's my supposition that not 100%, 90% of all the deaths are because of malpractice. And we're about to get to that. Are you willing to stay tuned? Who owns remdesivir? How much can they make and how much does it cost? I wonder if Anthony Fauci, whatever his name is, I wonder if he has his teats in this. Oh, he does. Wow, he owns some of remdesivir? Gee, I wonder why they're going to promote that. But it gets better. Because even if we do have a curative antiviral like remdesivir or hydroxychloroquine. Not only will that knock out 50% of the deaths, but there's new news. I'm sure you've seen it circulating around the interwebs. For the last 48 hours, proof has come out that the coronavirus is so transmissible, it's airborne. It's like fake Ebola. The only difference between this and Ebola is that Ebola kills everyone and this kills no one. It's like the difference. Ebola kills everyone. Coronavirus kills no one. You know why? Because the airborne coronavirus has been detected in Wuhan hospitals. Now, while the RNA of the virus was found in tiny droplets that moved for hours in the air and could have been sitting there for up to 20 hours, they don't know if it can actually infect you. That's how much we know about this virus. They don't know a thing. But you have to get locked down, and you're all going to be poor, and hundreds of millions will die of famine in 4 months. But we're just keeping you safe as long as you get vaccinated and take the ID 2020. That's where I start to get funny. If you don't believe that coronavirus is airborne, then you probably don't have any time to read this paper. But aerodynamic analysis of SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus in 2 Wuhan hospitals proves that the virus is airborne. And we already knew this 2 months ago when a paper came out that said the virus had moved through the ventilation systems in the cruise ships. Now, how could you get 3,000 people on a cruise ship and infect half of them? You could just pump the virus through the air, which they did. And how can you get the most infections and most deaths in a hospital, including healthcare workers? Well, it's airborne. Hello? And how can you get almost a limited effect on the population of millions that are also breathing it? Well, it's not deadly. And that's the fact. This is a novel virus that just hit the scene. Once it makes its way through for a year or so, it's over, Johnny. They have nothing to hold on to. So if you're healthy and safe, and you're wearing a face mask, you could suck it. I was in the store today in an area that's completely uninfected, and everyone has a face mask on. They must feel like idiots. Why? Because if this is an airborne virus, those cheesy ass face masks, you're concentrating the air and you're sucking it right into your mouth. The only reason to wear a face mask is if you're confirmed COVID-19 and you're infected, period. The bottom line is we all need to be exposed to this virus so that the vaccinators and the money funders and the assholes like Anthony Fauci, who has his teats into remdesivir and doesn't have any bottom end in hydroxychloroquine, are controlling the narrative. If a worldwide association of scientists, thousands of them, say that hydroxychloroquine changes the outcome of 91.6% of patients worldwide into the positive, and our government says that it's then you should be questioning the narrative. Because they're now touting remdesivir, trademark, they all own stock in it, as being the game changer. And we need to make more of this because I own stock in that company. Here's your $1,200 check. Stay home. Don't touch people. 6 feet away. We're going to monitor you all in a year. And then you'll have to take the vaccine, get the ID 2020 chip, and then follow us all around and do exactly what we say like puppets. This is a free world. Don't you want freedom? Oh my goodness. Now, let's get to the reality and what they're doing. This is coming from John Hopkins. Okay? Same people reporting on the fake numbers. This is the John Hopkins site. This should say 150 million. Death toll the same, maybe a little lower, but it doesn't say that. But according to John Hopkins, a new study suggested 2 years ago, oh, this is now 4 years, almost 4 years ago, that the third leading cause of death in the U.S. is malpractice. That means these doctors don't know what the fart they're doing. And I've been touting for weeks that all of the deaths, up to 80%, due to improper intubation of patients, because this was a deadly pandemic. Millions were going to die. It didn't happen. And so they killed tens of thousands because they weren't allowed to do anything else but intubate them. Why? Because any of the other protocols of positive pressure and oxygen and BPAP and all the other types of oxygenating protocols allows for viral infection to spread. So the protocol was to kill the patient by shoving a tube down his neck to keep the air in his lungs, which is not what they needed. They needed oxygen in the heme. They could have done this in hyperbaric chambers. They could have given them free oxygen flow in the nose, like they did Boris over in UK, and he was fine in a day. But they don't do that in the US. They kill people on purpose. In fact, the third leading cause of death in the US is assholes that are called doctors in hospitals. I'm not selling out all doctors and all hospitals because they're not all assholes, but most of them are because they follow protocols and they don't have the balls to go against the grain because they get taken out. That guy in the Bronx that went on air, that video has been taken down. The video of the hot mic at the White House, removed from YouTube. Censorship is on. Like Bond. They're taking us down, sentence by sentence, word by word. Doesn't matter what I say, I'm not allowed to say it, even though the Constitution guarantees it. So, the battle has begun. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get deeper. 420 Freedomist Films. Period. So what are you going to do? If the third leading cause of death is malpractice, and the 33rd leading cause of death is coronavirus, what do those death tolls, what do those numbers even mean? 60,000 dead from coronavirus? What if 20,000 of them are because of tubes stuck in necks? These numbers are a fake. We don't even have enough data or information to actually make a proper call. The most proper call that has ever been made has been on this channel since the beginning. 4 months ago, Paul Cottrell and I said remdesivir is the solution. And they're just getting to that. It's just completely disgusting. This is the nature of the world. Controlled narrative, controlled paradigm. They do not want to help you. They don't want to save your life. They could care less. The moment a doctor speaks up and says, hey, I could save people, they say, shut up. We need bigger numbers. We need to keep these people in control. We need vaccines. We need ID 2020 now, not tomorrow. We need these bitches controlled. They are killing the planet. It's all your fault. Climate change, chemtrails. This disease is because you're so pathetic. Get a clue. The globalists, the elites, they're assholes, and we need to take them out. The reason you're a slave, and finally you got a vacation, is because the society you live in is sick. Your children are taught lies from grade 1 all the way through college. This is indoctrination at the highest level of corporatocracy. You're living in an idiocracy. Please watch the movie and get a clue. Who knew it would actually come to this? Well, we believe this from day one. Thanks to all of the people that support us, that believe every word we say, because everything we've ever told you has come true. Who knew? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. This will be removed from the algorithm. Trust me.